Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the Synapse Philosophy Group. This is Dr. Haig John, your host, and we are on Stephenson's Chiropractic textbook. We're reading from the senior text, the 33 Principles. We're on page 252. That's a mouthful to get everything started. We are on principle number 12, and I have my guest host, the special reader, Bianca, my daughter. Let me let Barry in. And she's going to start off reading our principle number 12. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Wow.
The phenomena of universal
Read this first.
interference with transmission of universal force. Principle number 12. There can be interference with the transmission of universal forces. The phenomena of universal forces are common, and its interference is too common to be discussed at great length. A tree makes shade when the sun shines. Lead plates interfere with X-rays. Brass stops from magnetism. Rubber and glass interference with the passage of electricity, etc., etc.
Well, that was good reading. Good job.
Very good.
Nice job.
Thank you. So what does it say up here? That there can be interference with the transmission of universal force. How can we interfere with universal force?
Well, the transmission, you can't interfere with universal force. You can interfere with the transmission of universal force. The force is there and perfect, but it may not get where it's going. And that's what the examples are that he uses are a tree will interfere with sunshine hitting the ground, or that the lead plates interfere with X-rays being transmitted. You use a lead shield when you take pictures of your patients to protect them from the X-rays.
Understood? Yep. Okay.
And it can be a benefit, especially if you're hot here in Florida, the shade.
Okay.
It's still an interference.
Correct.
Sure.
So what's great about this is actually the science. This is chiropractic neurology. Because if there's interference to that transmission to us chiropractors and or even the general lay public, how life flows from the brain down the hole at the bottom of the skull through all the spinal bones, when there's a subluxation, this is an interference of that transmission of that perfect force. It is perfect. It is natural law.
Isn't that though? What we're talking about is that innate force, isn't it?
Creation, transmission.
No.
Creation, transmission, expression. So there can be an interference, and you're blocking that 100% intelligence.
Yeah,
it's being blocked. There's interference to the universal flow, the universal intelligence flow. It's 100%.
What about innate force? I don't know why you didn't mention innate force, because that's a lot more applicable to what we do.
It'll be matched here, Sue. It'll be matched if it hasn't already.
You want to read the next
We
one?
we haven't, I don't think we've gotten to innate separated from, well, we've gotten to the separation of innate from universal. But here he goes from the big to the small.
Got
so
it.
About universal here, and we'll get to the interference. But
Yes.
if it's interfered within the body.
Okay, let's read the next part.
Whether these forces be radiant or conducted, there is a way to interfere with them. If they are being conducted through the material, a gap in the conductor will stop their flow, and the diminishing of the size of the
Diminish the amount which gets through
as swiftly as the energies traveled in the radiant form with apparent ease. They all prefer to pause, enter, and be conducted by matter. If this were not true, we could have no electricity for use, no compasses, no radio sets, no shade for comfort, and no sunburns. Each of these energies has a preference for certain kinds of matter. Having these well-established facts about natural phenomena, then is not reasonable to suppose innate forces might be radiant, but like other forms of energy, prefer a conductor and have a preference for the kind of conductor, which is the nerve issue.
Tissue. Hold on, let's stop right there. I think
Cool.
that's really cool and really an amazing, consciousness of our nerve system. And are we radiant? Are innate forces radiant, refined and conducted through the central nerve system? I mean, it prefers to be conducted through nerves. It's just amazing if we start thinking about that, right? That's spirit.
So I like that term radiant as well, because the definition where it says the innate forces are through or over the nervous system. The or over can be the fifth dimension, can be energetic, can be not seen yet, not discovered yet.
Yeah.
This is that radiant energy as well. Yes.
We see us, are we pulsing? We're putting out energy to the world. What are we putting out? I always think, like, we're looking right over Barry's head right here, that radiance of life when we're well adjusted, putting this into practice, really, when the people are well adjusted, they're walking out of the office just radiant to the world. Better things happen to their lives. They attract better things to them. They're putting out better energy to the universe.
This sounds like tone. Tone.
Exactly. And it's not within this celestial body. It goes out to the universe. That's how much having a refined tone, how important that is. Let alone getting that tone back as we give, we're also receiving it. It's truly amazing to think about. It's mind-boggling when we're around so many people at times, right? Wow.
I remember somewhere in the past reading or hearing about the difference between radiant energy, kind of like acumeridians, as opposed to it says this prefers matter over the nerves. It's a lot harder to interfere with radiant forces than conductive forces, like over the nerve. That can be very acute, as opposed to more generalized radiation interference. I don't know, that fits in somehow between radiance and conductive through matter, which is the nerve.
I was fortunate in my era. We had real cadavers that we had in our anatomy class. I don't know if anybody has dissected the spinal cord or the central nerve system. Not even a touch. It will simply just disintegrate to nothing. And how special that system really is, how durable yet delicate, and how amazing the transmission of life through the nerves. It's almost mind-boggling. It must glow, right?
The nerves were that delicate?
So delicate. Absolutely. And it's just truly amazing when you get to it. So, the strength yet the frailty. I'm in the duality of man right now,
So, Steve, you're making me think of the connection of the spiritual to the physical, correct?
Yeah.
That connection here. However, why can't it also be spiritual connection to spiritual connection? You're a spiritual human being. You and I, with our senses, our eyes, our ears, our touch, see us as a physical being. However, you and I also know that we're spiritual as well.
Wow.
So why can't that universal intelligence have that interference, that transmission of those forces, that radiant energy, that spirit?
Can it be interfered, the spirit to spirit, through thought of a unharmonious nature, of an untrusting nature, of a fearful nature?
So you're an antenna, you're in tune with things and receptors, but also you could change what type of radio waves, frequencies you want to listen to. So you do have some control over it.
Yes, I have choice.
The signals are still going to be out there.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah. And wow, I love it. Choice.
You may consciously or unconsciously block them with your attitude.
Correct.
Let's finish this one up.
A whole new purpose, meaning to, what you see and what you think about and you create. If you're positive or you're negative in your attitude towards things that are happening, I never see accidents. Only good things happen to me versus everything bad happens to me. I can't understand how to make my computer work. I can make anything happen on my computer. And it's like, it's all here, but that's what you can block it from being able to be achieved, and you can create the world that you are in.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yes. What do I choose to resonate with?
Yeah.
Well, that's really working in the quantum. The outcome of an experiment or, an observation is based on the expectation of the observer. It's what you feel inside. As a man thinketh, so shall he be. And, or woman or young person. And, we create our reality. Right? All right, let's do this.
Just a minute.
And if this is true, it is not responsible to suppose, though we cannot see this metal energy, that the impingement of this living conductor will interfere with the flow. If it is true, it is no longer in the real realm of theory. It has been provided time and again when adjustments have gotten sick people well.
Good job. You did that.
Really good job. That's
Bianca, you are doing a great job. There's some hard words there, and you are doing fabulous.
What grade are you in?
Fourth.
This is no fourth grade textbook.
We're reading the senior
and the English in it is kind of funny. Some of the syntax, some of the way the words are put together is a little bit funny too. They're not what even we're used to is
I'm impressed.
Things that we read all the time. You're doing a great job.
Yes.
I'm impressed too. I'm so proud of you. Good job.
Yeah, this is a senior professional textbook level.
Yeah.
Great job.
Read by a fourth grader. Who probably understands it better than me.
Her dad's going to quiz her later.
Well, she gets 20 questions. But, when we're around these things, they become the natural world, the way we see things, right? We see them through the eyes. Chiropractic's the lifestyle of chiropractic. It's what we've talked about since I was in school. I'm sure well before me, and where does it come from? Is talking about these things in this way, children, grandchildren, elderly, and speaking our words of life into things and not words of death. That's what a lot of the difference of chiropractic is. I mean, I don't know, but I'm sure you all as well, but I cheer on my people. You're doing great. Everything's getting better. Where they get from the other side, everything's worse. You look horrible. You're going to die soon, Where would you rather go? I'd rather put my energy around things that breathe life into us, right?
Heck.
Well, the function of matter, principle number 13. You want to read this beginning?
The function of matter, principle number 13. The function of matter is to express force. Nowhere in the universe can there be matter that does not receive the caretaking of universal intelligence. The great intelligence keeps it up to date every moment, and no bit of material is without its share of vibration for the creative thinking of universal power is transformed into what we know as forms of energy. We are never aware of these forces until they are expressed by matter. You cannot perceive and motion unless matter does it. And matter will not move unless a form of energy gets into it. The same may be said of other forms of energy that we know in our study of physics, such as heat, light, and electricity. These forms are all interchangeable, hence life is but vibration in degree. The forms of which we have spoken are according to the unchangeable laws of physics, therefore unadaptable. It applies to inorganic matter.
Perfect.
Those structures of matter may have many varied functions. All of them are primarily to express force. It is impossible to convince the matter without force, without force, or force without matter. And we know that force originates in the intelligence. Note, the term force is used in chiropractic as energy in physics.
Okay. Excellent job again. Why is that in there? I think we said this last time about principle number 13 haven't we explained that before? How are we refining our understanding of universal force from that? What do you guys think?
One of the things I'm getting here is that I don't think there can be a creator without a creation, is what this is saying. There can be no creation without a creator.
Okay. I like
By
that.
definition, of sure, we've heard about that state before matter, before the Big Bang. However, can there be a father without a child? Can there be, a parent without a child?
100%.
It's simultaneous.
Yeah, I agree with you. And to me, it's a baited question because of what we read in DD. And this is why. Because matter needs force. Spirit needs matter as well to animate it and create it. Without matter, spirit is formless. Without that spirit, the form doesn't exist as well. It just is matter. So it is the most important thing is us getting a handle really on the universal forces and matter of how important they are so the innate forces can express themselves to it. I think understanding matter is important, but I remember talking about it last time. Anybody else?
I love the great intelligence keeps it up to date every moment.
Yeah.
And that last paragraph, I happen to have it underlined. I don't know when I did, but it still is a wow, appreciative.
It's a wow. Yep.
And what's interesting, RW was taught by J.H. Craven, who was his philosophy instructor, who was also around, of course, BJ at the time, and then Craven around DD. So here he is talking, we're thinking of DD here, this forms of energy, the great intelligence, and this matter, the vibration and degree. So even if you think as a tissue cell, its vibration, it's vibrating that energy, that intelligence, and according, if that tissue cell is 100%, right, the safety pin cycle, it's connected. If that tissue cell is, quote, diseased and has symptoms, we know it's functioning at a lower degree. So you can take this philosophical word here and actually apply it in our science and neurology. And then what's unique about this description too is it is very D.D. Palmer-like, and the main thing is express force, and then at the end he defines force as a chiropractic term as energy and physics. Now, this is the chiropractic textbook. So he's doing our philosophy, but also at the time, the school was coming up with their own books. And this was the chiropractic textbook. And it needed to also appeal to the scientists, the other professions out there who were always trying to put us down and point at us. So he's doing a couple of beautiful, brilliant things here.
Yeah.
Remember our friend from Colorado a few weeks ago, the chiropractor? He said he's more comfortable with the term energy than force. And too bad he's not here, because this would have just given him a resonance.
Well, I talked to him tonight, and let's hold Scott in our thoughts and prayers. He hasn't been feeling well for the past like 3 weeks or more.
Oh, boy.
So I've been talking to him, because he wanted to get on, but he hasn't been feeling well. So let's keep him in our thoughts and prayers.
Well, next time you talk to him, point out 253 on the bottom.
I'm totally gonna do that.
The question I have about that statement is this: is he saying that force and energy are the same thing? Because energy hence it has been expressed as can change to matter, as in the Higgs boson particle. It goes back. So then, or is the force an immaterial that is not changeable?
So
it uses matter, but it can't change. It doesn't change into matter.
Yeah. So what I heard was force is in chiropractic. Force is energy and physics. So to me, that's different. It's a transformation, because I believe the force is the intelligence. The energy and physics is the transmission.
Well, he's saying here that they're analogous. He says the force is used in chiropractic as energy is in physics. He's saying they're that it's analogous to it.
Got it.
That's early energy too. When we're looking at, at the atomic level and all those different things, they weren't really up to that, deep enough an explanation.
So here we go. There's potential energy and there's kinetic energy, right?
Here you go.
One's in action and the other one's not. They're still both intelligent. They're still both energies, right?
Yeah. Didn't we read somewhere where the link between intelligence and matter is the force? Is it possible that our intellects love to categorize the differences, peripheral nervous system, central nervous, when indeed these are blended somehow, that the intellect likes to divide, and they're shared somehow or on a gradient? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's read number 14. What do you think?
Right on. Yeah.
All right, Bianca, 254.
Universal life in all matter. Principle number 14. Force is manifested by motion in matter, and all matter has motion. Therefore, there is universal life in all matter. This is a principle derived from and really belonging to. No life is necessarily the union.
Oh, sorry. It's belonging to number 2. Okay. And then life is necessarily the union.
Life is necessarily the union of intelligence and matter. Intelligence is an entity. Matter is an entity. The character of matter when intelligence is present is what we call life. It is made known to us by matter, expressing the force which intelligence creates. Life is manifested by vibrations according to degree. Molecules have vibrations manifesting force. Nothing but intelligence could issue of the force. Tissue cells have vibrations, a greater degree of life, manifesting force. Bodies of animate things have more movement from with bodies of it from within. Still more life. It requires intelligence, creative forces to cause such movements. Therefore, an organism with signs cause such movements. Therefore, an organism with signs of life has more intelligence united with it than the molecule of life. Has more.
Wow.
The vibrations of molecules and atoms are manifested of the universal life. Our ability to perceive life is an exactly proportional to our ability to recognize universal intelligence all about us. Every structure of matter, from a lump of clay to the tiger, has intelligence in it, exactly proportional to its state of organization. The higher the grade of structure, the higher the grade of intelligence present. To make it and keep it that way. Degree in chiropractic terminology is taken to mean as degree of perfection. Therefore, it involves quality as well as quantity.
Quantity.
Wow.
Well, directly proportional to the structure of the organism. Is that what that says?
Yeah, I think so.
What comes to mind is evolution, when the periodic table was basically just hydrogen or a couple of other elements, and then we had one-celled organism, then we had larger organism, and then we have the human being, which is a lot more. What did he call it? More intelligence with signs of. There are degrees of
the structure, the higher the grade of intelligence present.
yes.
To make it and keep it that way. It takes a high degree of intelligence to make it, just say us, right? And then it takes it a lot to just maintain it and keep it functioning. Of that universal law, innate intelligence. That's where we're probably getting into innate really soon. Still in universal forces. What did you guys get out of that?
It's interesting because he's using an extended he's extending the term life to include clay or stones. Anything that has that force of intelligence has some sense of the intelligence in it. And we understand that that universal intelligence manifests all things. That a tree has innate intelligence, another level, but he's saying here that even a stone has a degree of universal life, in that it has that universal intelligence present, maintaining it in its form.
Yeah, rocks have an organization, not as organized or complicated as an animal kingdom, but intelligence is there.
It confused me when I first read it, when he said something about anything that intelligence is present, because the character of matter when intelligence is present is what we call life, but that's an expanded vision of what we might call life, universal life there, which is the term he uses later.
So I used to get stumped up on this too, because when I would hear intelligence and them talking about it, I would think of, consciousness. A jellyfish doesn't, and then a rock. They're talking about the master creator. There's intelligence, the laws of physics, thermodynamics, chemistry, right. All that behind it. And I used to get stumped up by that word intelligence in this work.
I think it's the marvel and the amazingness had to have created such an amazing structure. Whatever the structure might be, there is an amazing design for it. an amazing creator that must have created this awesomeness. You know,
I-
that's the way I read that, really.
I love the sentence in the page before that said, "No bit of material is without its share of vibration for
Yeah.
for the creative thinking of universal power."
Wow. Yeah. That's chiropractic philosophy right there. That's pretty good stuff. I mean,
It's something better than religion here, but it is spiritual.
you know, it's eloquent and it's a download. I mean, this doesn't come, you know, this is years, life, study, everything, and then the freedom to let spirits transmit through you.
It's
Because
also poetry.
it's
Like
poetry.
poetry.
Yeah. Well written, well written. It's amazing. Love it.
That Steve makes me think that we're all connected, of course. However, it also shows me that if you take action and do something, you have an effect with the whole universe. It
Yeah.
changes, it's different because of the action you took.
The butterfly effect.
Fact.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bianca, you brought some good discussion in tonight. We got a lot of great stuff tonight. Oh, yes, my love. So, you know, I loved having our reader tonight, and we got a lot of great insights tonight. I think we should hold off 15 for next week. What do you think? And then we'll pick it up there again. And you know, we lose a little momentum once we leave Dee Palmer because it was so powerful doing. We just finished 1914 still. It feels fresh to me, you know. And the getting into Stevens is a good ramp up. And there are some BJ books that I've been picking out lately of, you know, of what to read. Unless you guys want to go back also to 1914 again and start finishing that. We're at about page 400. But, you know, we can discuss it. We've got a lot to do. And I think some good BJ Palmer might be some, you know, we did volume 39 was amazing. Whoever is listening to this, go back and listen to that playlist of volume 39. Absolutely amazing from BJ Palmer. But let's take some, you know, insights. We're halfway through pretty much the 33. All right, everybody? Sound good? Blessings to everyone. Bianca, you want to say goodbye?
Bye.
Bianca, thank you for reading tonight. You were great.
All your hard work. Absolutely.
Great job.
Well, we'll see you next week. Everybody have a beautiful night. And we'll talk soon. We'll see you next Tuesday.